When I was 20, I was in a really bad car accident. I spent all day, every day in excruciating pain. There was never a time I couldn't sleep without pain, I couldn't walk without pain, I couldn't sit without pain. It is a miracle that I'm walking in here today. As a teacher, we get prepared for school. We decorate our classrooms, we set up bulletin boards 2 days before school, and I decided I wanted to take on this task of doing this big bulletin board in the hallway, and I climbed on a step ladder to hang up the background of the bulletin board. Where I was on the ladder, I couldn't quite reach, and I wanted to get one extra staple in, and I had a split decision of there was a table next to me, put my foot on it a little bit, to reach a little farther. Well, that calculated mistake cost me falling off the ladder, and I shattered my knee. When I was in the emergency room, we only focused on my left side because that was what I knew hurt. Never giving thought that I fell on my entire body when I fell. We knew and focused that I had shattered this knee. My injury of my knee was on my left side, and my prior injury in my hip was on the right side. My right side, which was injured prior, became my dominant side, and I had to hop around on this not dominant but dominant side. And through that process, I realized that there was something going on in my hip because I was in a lot of pain. When I was referred to Dr. Boutros, I was in excruciating pain. I could barely walk, so we knew that from my injury, my hip had went bad quicker because of the strain I was putting on my hip.
And when she came to me, she multiple limbs involved, huge gait disturbance, unable to sleep, really finding a limitation in just to get through her daily life of what she wants to do. She had such a bad hip that it had eroded to the point where there was just a lot of buildup of bone around that, and that's partly what restricted her motion. And so we did kind of 3D imaging and used some pretty complicated software to help plan for that surgery, to be able to not disturb any of that hardware, but still be able to place an implant and then have fixation around her hardware. And so, instead of making a much larger surgical bed or surgical incision or doing a 2-stage procedure where you had to take a lot of hardware out to make room for that implant, we were able to sneak it into a position that was very functional for her, that didn't require more removal or more recovery time, and we were able to do it in one go.
At OSF, we have a total hip and knee replacement program, and our program really focuses on the patient's needs and well-being before and after their surgery. Once it's determined that a patient needs a joint replacement surgery, we have a collaborative approach between our surgical services teams, which allows the team to really integrate and make sure that we are putting the patient first and ensuring that all those patients' needs are met individually, and making sure that those patients have the best possible outcomes after their joint replacement surgery.
Being a reconstruction specialist that does, everything from just primary outpatient total joint replacements to big trauma, periprosthetic fractures and revisions, you have to have everything at your fingertips to be able to take on those cases. But when you're out in a community practice, you need to really think ahead of what you're going to need. The collaboration between OrthoIllinois and OSF to have those resources available to do those cases and take on anything that comes through the door in terms of orthopedic trauma and orthopedic revision work around joint replacement surgery is a commitment of both organizations. OSF puts a lot of resource into that, and we feel that. And that's the place where we prefer to do those surgeries because we know it's reliable. And the communication between the teams is always ongoing and has to be flawless when you have patients' lives in your hands. I think that collaborative spirit between OrthoIllinois and OSF is really how we achieve and accomplish doing those types of cases.
I've historically taken my family to St. Anthony's. I had both my kids at St. Anthony's, so I have very fond memories of that. Recently my wife ran into some medical problems that we took her there, and the care that she received and the attention to detail that she got from multiple service lines in the hospital, it was very impressive. And it's one thing to deliver care in a system, but it's also one thing to trust that care for your own family. And for me, that speaks volumes.
It's been a little over a year since my hip replacement, and it's been life-changing. I know Dr. Boutros warned me I'd be in pain for quite some time, but my pain was so severe prior to surgery that pretty much day one hitting the ground after surgery, I was like on the move. I had absolutely no pain compared to what I was experiencing prior to surgery. So I was able to like get around. I was walking without a walker really quickly. I enjoy being able to just be an adult again in my house. I had to put just so much of my workload onto my then 8-year-old daughter. She had to pick up the slack to help me because I wasn't physically able to do so many things. It's nice to be able to go back into the parent role where I'm the parent again and I'm helping her instead of her helping me every step of the way. My normal life is not normal like anybody else, but it's my normal. So I enjoy just being able to go to the store now because I couldn't for so long. I enjoy being able to carry the laundry basket down the stairs because I couldn't do that for 2 years. So we went to the zoo this summer, my daughter and my nephew, and I was able to walk the entire Milwaukee County Zoo for 4 hours straight, and I didn't have to worry about being in pain. So it was nice to just be able to experience those things that normal people get to experience all the time, but it hasn't been our normal for many years. It's just been a really great experience. Like my life has like completely changed.